gonna do what they say can't be done. We've got a long way to go, and a short time to get there. I'm westbound, just watch old Bandit run.
I classify it as a rainy day, Saturday afternoon movie.
Sorry, I don't want to get married.
It's a little like Chinese food. About an hour after you see the movie, you may want to go see another one. It makes you feel good, you know? It's a little like sex.
Breaker one, this is the Bandit.
I was doing a film with Burt down in Georgia called Gator. And as you may or may not know, it was illegal to take Coors beer east of the Mississippi.
You know, trucking Coors beer east of Texas is bootlegging.
Driver captain put some on beer on the truck here in L.A., took it down there, got down there, and he said, hey, I'll got some Coors, and I'll drop a couple in your apartment. I said, all right. And it kept disappearing, and I kept putting more in. Kept disappearing. I said, it's got to be somebody, it's got to be an inside job. So I set a trap, and I caught the maid. And I went up and I said, look, why are you stealing Coors beer? And she said, oh, you can't get Coors beer around here.
Tell the folks to send the bill to Big Enos Burdette.
That's the thread that put Smokey together. That's the only thing was.
Wait a minute. Why do you want that beer so bad?
Because he's thirsty, dummy.
I started out doing stunts in movies and television, and Hal Needham was the king, you know. He was the best there was. And then I found out he was getting a divorce, and I said, listen, I got 6 bedrooms. You can stay with me until you find a place. 8 years later. 8 years.
His memory is about that long. I lived with him for 12 years.
One day he said, I got this thing I'm writing. So I read it. I said, Hal, it's the worst script I've ever read in my life. Honest to God, it's just god-awful. But I'll do it.
I just wanted him to read it because really and truly, I thought I was going to get Jerry Reed to do it, play the Bandit, and try to get maybe $1 million and do a real low-budget cheapie. And Burt read it, and he said, if you can get somebody to give you the money, I'll star in it, and you can direct it.
Damn it, Bandit, look at me!
I find it hard to look at you, Wynette. Very hard, especially when you've got those things in your hair. Makes me think you're listening to a radio station in Savannah.
I think that Burt could be a very great comedian. He's got a quality that is very important to comedy. He can look at you and say something, and then he gives you the attitude that he's saying, who, me? And that's a great quality for someone who wants to do comedy. I believe he could be a great comedian.
Burt Reynolds, who is just everything a leading man, slick, leading show-off could be, you know. There's a line in Smokey and the Bandit where Burt talks to Sally about showing off.
I just go from place to place and do what I do best.
What's that?
Show off.
Yeah, you do that well.
I think it's a key element in the success of the movie is that he's good at showing off, you know. And he had that rare combination of where the guys wanted to be his best friend and all the women wanted to take him home, you know.
Do you feel that you're in competition to Burt Reynolds?
Oh, no. He plays comedy. I'm in the lead in this.
This is Sheriff Buford P. Justice of Texas.
They wanted Richard Boone, who was a wonderful actor and would have been good, but he didn't have the, you know, the humor that Jackie had, of course, and nobody did.
We sent him a script and had my name on it, so he called and he said, what makes you think I would do this script? I said, well, Mr. Gleason, I said, I wrote it. I'm going to direct it. I love your work. I think it's a funny part for you. He says, I'll do it. That's all there was to it.
The addition of Jackie Gleason to the cast as Sheriff Buford T. Justice just about set the whole mood of the picture.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a goddamn hurry.
80% of what he said came right out of his head.
Where's the can? I gotta take a squirt.
Right back there. Just one.
When he told his son to put the evidence in the car,
Put the evidence in the back.
when Gleason gets to the car, he goes and he says,
There's no way that you could come from my loins. Soon as I get home, the first thing I'm gonna do is punch your mama in the mouth.
that's all his. That's all his.
I was just wondering what you based your character on. Do you know any police officers like that man?
You're not going to get me to say I know any police officers like that.
Whoops.
He said, your dad's a cop, ain't he? And I said, my dad is so cop, he's, you know, he bleeds cop, you know. And all my life, he said, some bitch. And I told Jackie, and Jackie said, did he say some bitch? I said, yeah, he always says some bitch. He don't say son of a bitch. And I said, no, he says some bitch. And so Jackie said some bitch in the picture.
Where are you, you some bitch?
And it became like part of the Southern lexicon. I mean, now you hear some bitch all the time.
You some bitch. Don't you cuss on this here radio. I apologize to all the friendly folk who are listening.
Well, what are we gonna do when we get home?
Go to bed. For a week.
Good idea.
And sleep.
Want a bed?
They were going through all kinds of casting things. And I said, I want Sally Field. And they said, Sally Field in Sexy. I said, really?
Nice ass.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Talent is sexy. Her talent, she's so talented, makes her sexy, you know?
Oh, cowboys love fat calves.
They're not fat.
They're bigger than mine.
Do we really want to talk about legs?
Well, one of us does.
She was afraid of it, you know? She said, there's no script here. I said, yeah, I know. I said, we just, you know, wing it. And I said, well, I'm not from that school, improv. I said, trust me. Those famous words. Trust me.
Does this thing move?
Oh, yeah.
I saw a picture of the Trans Am with the T-tops in a magazine, and it was black. And I said, I knew that character was going to be Bandit. That was going to be his name. And I thought, boy, that's a slick, sexy-looking car.
And nobody had seen that car. Nobody had seen the Trans Am.
Well, God almighty, would you look at that?
Beautiful, huh?
Honey, hush.
And because it was such a big engine and small frame and light and everything, I got in that thing and it was, you know, you got a nosebleed. I mean, whew, it was so much fun.
So I called Pontiac and made a deal with them. They gave me 3 Trans Ams and 2 Bonnevilles for the sheriff. Believe me, when we got through, we were stealing parts off of this and this and this to make the last one run. I mean, we just barely got through. The jump across the bridge. Wipe that one off, it's gone. All we just scavenged parts off of that thing. And time we got to the last shot, we were barely had a car running.
Trans Am's sales went up 700%. And so I was told by the president of General Motors that I would get a Trans Am for life. And then one didn't come. And I thought, oh, I don't want to be a jerk, but it didn't come. I called up, I said, excuse me, this is Burt Reynolds, and I guess there's been some kind of mix-up. The Trans Am didn't, maybe it went to the wrong place. And they said, no, you don't understand. We met the president of the company, and he died. And the new president doesn't want you to have one. So I didn't get one. I had to buy one.
Bandit, you're reckless and you live much too hard.
I'll be in Nashville.
Jerry, he's so full of energy. My gosh, he's full of energy. And man, could he play guitar. And he could write. He could write anything. You know, he wrote Eastbound and Down in about an hour. And I just thought he'd be fantastic. And I liked him enormously.
Hey, want a beer?
Well, son. When Burt said he'd do it, I called and I said, hey, Jerry, you know about playing Bandit? He said, yeah. I said, you're now the snowman. You know, it was that simple, because I told him what happened, and I told him, you know, obviously we wanted to do the music.
You got the one snowman. I'm eastbound and down.
Eastbound and down.
We're gonna kill him.
Load it up and truck it. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long
You got a Trans Am, a semi, and police cars, and they're going 125 or 130, and you got a guitar. And he just went, you know, dun, 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 dun. I mean, he just did it.
That whole Eastbound and Down song is just so perfect.
Eastbound and down. Load it up and truck it.
The freedom and that feel it's in the song and it's in the movie, and I think you have to, you know, take your hat off to Jerry for that. You know? He did a great job.
And I said, Reed, what are you going to do about our music? He said, in the morning. I said, okay. Next morning, he come out, 4 made our first shot, and he said, hey, partner, listen to this. And he propped up there and he sang Eastbound and Down, and I'm just sitting there, I'm going, what? He said, oh, if you don't like it, I can change it. I said, you change one word, one note, I'll choke you.
Jerry Reed's ability to play Cletus as well as he does is also a look into why he's such a successful songwriter. He is that guy. There is that piece of him in his soul. You know, I can close my eyes and see him sitting there working with that dog.
Fred, I'm so damn tired of picking you up. Fred!
We got down to Atlanta, and we didn't have a dog. And we didn't have any budget. I didn't want to pay a dog trainer and all that kind of stuff and everything. So I said, well, all he's going to do is sit in the truck with Jerry Reed, so we'll just get a dog down there. So for a little PR, we put an ad in the paper that Burt Reynolds is going to be the judge of a dog show or to pick a dog to be in the movie and everything. The next day, there was not a dog in the dog pound. We was in a park, and it was just a sea of dogs out there. And so when Burt would just go and put his hand over the dog, the Basset Hound won. Burt said, that's your dog, and that's how he got in the movie.
Oh, where might I find the Bandit?
I ain't seen him.
Over there behind his rig.
Any guy that would paint his truck like this would go to a minister's funeral dressed in feathers.
I've gotten to the point where I've accepted that no matter what's happened in my life, I'll probably be remembered for two things: writing the Love Boat theme and playing Little Enos and Smokey and the Bandit.
Cletus, get the money.
Yeah, how about the money?
How about double or nothing?
How about forgetting it?
Oh, wait a minute. What about double or nothing?
You run up to Boston and bring back some clam chowder for me and my daddy?
You're on.
You're on.
During the 70s, Burt was a regular guest on The Tonight Show, and so was I. So I think we probably ran into each other the first time on The Tonight Show. And Pat McCormick was a regular writer for one of the head writers for The Tonight Show, all 6'5" of him, and with me 5'2". I think there's a pretty good chance that Burt saw the two of us hovering over the craft service table, and you know, Pat hovering over it, and me, reaching up, feeling around for some celery or something.
We wanted a look that was so funny. I mean, you just looked at him and laughed.
All right, show him the cash. Go ahead, little.
Shit.
I remember the first shot that I had my cowboy hat down, and I was in the hammock. And they said, okay, roll him. And I lifted the hat up, and it was the most visceral laugh I've ever had, the most real laugh.
Oh, I love your suits. It must be a bitch getting a size 68 extra fat and a 12 dwarf.
God. Thanks, Burt. You know, I know there were a lot of short actors you could have called. I'm really glad you called me.
I'd like to kick his ass just once.
Well, I was directed by the best stuntman in the world. It was his first picture that he ever directed. And I used to be a stuntman. So we were trying to out-macho each other, because I would try to do as many as I could, and we would be fighting over it. In the meantime, Alan Gibbs would jump over a bridge and make lots of money.
I wanted to do things I could do quick, and I wanted to do things that I thought were exciting, all right? And I'll give you an example. There's one scene in there where this police car goes out and jumps off a ramp and hits in the back of a flatbed truck. First time he came up, he hit, just rolled on over the other side, down the hill, up on the wheels. He just stuffed it in gear and went back to his start position. He said, "Okay, Hal, ready for take two." And so we did take two, and we got it.
Son! You reckon you let me off at the next exit?
It was all planned. And I mean, the only thing in there that wasn't planned was Gleason and his son are chasing the Bandit, and they passed Jerry Reed in the truck. And he was going to pull in, and he pulled in a little bit too quick. And the front of the truck hit the back of the car, and he was pushing him sideways about 50 miles an hour like this.
I mean, it is the most amazing shot you've ever seen.
The stuntman doubling the guy, he said, "Man, Hal," he said, "do you know how big the grill of a truck is when it's sitting right there?"
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
We built a ramp from to go into this baseball field, but we brought them over the fence way out in center field, you know, hell, 100 yards from the dugout and things. One thing, me and all of the stunt guys I had with me had not thought of, we were going to land on grass. Just like being on ice. The kids on the field were okay. They were getting out of the way. But as they start getting closer to that dugout, I'm going, oh my God.
The kids all said, "Can we do it again? Can we do it again?" And the mothers were saying, "Boy, that sure was close. I didn't realize y'all did it that close." And we went, "Yeah, well, we like to keep it, you know, pretty close." And thank God the fathers weren't there. Otherwise, we'd all got the hell beat out of us.
Burt has a love affair with the audience. I mean, people like Burt Reynolds, all right? The audience likes Burt Reynolds.
I pulled in behind the John, and the cop went by, and I pulled ahead a little bit more.
I told him ahead time, I said, "You start easing forward, and I'll tell you when to stop. And when I tell you to stop, you're gonna be right across from the camera, then just look at it and smile and drive out."
Right in the lens went, and then drove off. And everybody laughed. The crew laughed, everybody laughed. And I backed up because I figured we were going to do another one. And Hal said, "That's it." And I went, "Boy, you got some cojones, man. I mean, that's breaking the fourth wall, you know." He went, "And Hal, you got to know Hal." "The what?" He didn't know from the fourth wall.
Matter of fact, I don't think Burt wanted to do it, but he did. And I thought it worked like a charm. I mean, you know what he's doing? He's saying, "Look at all the fun we're having," you know?
Up. Now just kind of slide right.
Oh, you got my hair.
All right. Just slide right in
Ooh,
it.
I don't know. Wait.
I got it.
Wait.
I got it.
Wait. Whoa.
Wait a minute.
It was a hot movie, and for very little money.
I was in New York with Sally when the picture opened, and they were going to only open the movie in the South.
It went right through the roof. Now they take the PR of what a great movie it is and how much fun it is and everything, send it to New York, and it becomes a major hit in New York and San Francisco and Philadelphia, all over the country.
It's a piece of Americana, and I'm really proud to have been a part of it.
It's become a classic. I don't give a damn what anybody says. It's become a classic.
Billy Bob Thornton said, "You know, down south, we consider Smokey and the Bandit a documentary."
Bye-bye.
No hard feelings, Junior!
I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old Bandit run.
Breaker one, this is the Bandit. It's a snowman out there. Am I hitting you, son?
Mercy sakes, you put about 8.5 on me. Blowing the windows down. Bring it on.
And 4.
Westbound and down, 18 wheels rolling. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm westbound, just watch old Bandit run.
I'm Steve. I drive this big truck. This is just like Smokey and the Bandit. This is a Freightliner Classic, pulling a 45-foot reefer. What's in the box? Well, it might be beer, but I ain't telling.
Like to kick his ass just once.
I'm also going to show you how to talk on a CB, and somebody will actually understand you.
I got the metal to the pedal and the thing to the floor.
The CB is I guess, came to fame in the movie.
Snowman, you got your ears on?
This is Foxy Lady Bandit. We heard you were coming by, and we decided we'd take care of those bears for you.
You some bitch. Don't you cuss on this here radio.
It's just good old boy language. I've never known anybody who got on a CB radio in America, whether he lived in Michigan. He suddenly got very southern.
We got a full-grown sitting in the bushes shooting you in the ass as you go by, boy. Best get your foot off that hammer.
I don't know why he talks like that, but he's got a radio in his hand. But you pick up this silly radio and you say, this is the Gray Beaver, and I have a flat tire, and another guy says, this is the Brown Fox. Where are you? I'm on Road 99, and he says, I'll be right over, and 11 people stop and help you change the tire. Now, why that happens because you have a radio, I assume it's because you suddenly imagine that you're a St. Bernard dog, you know, running to help somebody.
Now put the pedal to the metal. I'm 10-10 on the side.
Show. Me and Fred here. We got your back door, Henry Fred.
The language came about so that, which is ridiculous, but it was originated by the truckers, because the truckers were their own fraternity, and they didn't want a civilian, in other words, a guy in a car, to pick up a CB and understand all the lingo of the truckers.
Basic information of a CB is 10-4. It means, yes, I understand, whatever. I figured it out.
That's a big 10-4.
Doing a flip-flop means you're going to turn around and go back the other way.
You better flip-flop back here and give me a hand, son, or we're going to be in a heap of trouble.
A lot of fellas had the codes on a little cheat sheet up here on their visor. And when they wanted to say something they couldn't figure out how, they'd flip their visor down. I did that for a little while, and then I realized it's a whole lot easier to just say what you got to say, rather than, oh, what code is that? That bullshit.
Hey, would a cop taking a leak on the side of the road interest you?
He's taking a 10-100.
Well, at least it's better than 10-200.
The CB talk in the movie was, I think it was about, you know, it had obviously some Hollywood-like influence in it, but a lot of it was how we really talk to each other out here.
What's your 20?
Well, I'm about 4 miles ahead of you, Turkey.
Up along.
Now, you know them Smokies, they got them CBs in their car now. You know that. I know that. I haven't worked that out yet, but I'm thinking about it.
This cat and mouse game's been going on since the history of trucks. They've always been bears. There are county mounties. There's local yokels. There's air bears, DOT bears, polar bears. A DOT bear, Department of Transportation, about as friendly as a bobcat with an ass load of sand spurs. Polar bears are those little white cruisers. They're typically white or a light color, and they are some sneaky, hiding in the bushes, catch you when you ain't looking specialists. The CB term for a scale house or a weigh station is a chicken coop. We want to dodge a chicken coop, man, we're overweight, we're hauling something illegal, or we just don't want to be picked on today. You know, my favorite sign in the world is scales closed.
What's your handle, son, and what's your 20?
My handle is Smokey Bear, and I'm tail grabbing your ass right now.
When you hear about a cop on the CB radio, he's up there and he's running radar, so you want to back off the hammer. In other words, get off the gas, slow down. When a Smokey's going down the road, we would usually say something like, you got a bear rolling your way and he got the discos on and he is in a hurry. He's rolling.
Look, I'm gonna drop the little dolly here off at a Choke and Puke, and then I'm gonna get right back on the job.
This is a Choke and Puke. One of the originals. This is one of the oldest truck stops on in this part of California. And we're gonna ease up in here and take us a little break.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper, make it fast. I'm in a goddamn hurry.
Now that's me killed in this moving CB radio show, and I don't even have a handle.
Bandit, this here is the grave robber.
Bandit, honey, this is the good witch of the north speaking.
My handle's Silver-Tongued Devil, and I'm here to tell you your fellow CBers are mighty proud of you out there. Come on.
They call me Big Dog.
Frog.
Why?
Because you're always hopping around. And you're kind of cute like a frog, and I'd like to jump you. Is that Hop Pants Hilliard I hear yakking out there?
And who wants to know?
This is a Bandit, darling.
Well, where are you, you bodied up, smooth-talking thing?
I think that one thing that Smokey and the Bandit didn't talk about, that's a big fact of life out here, is our good old-fashioned lot lizard. Them's the creepy crawlies that work at night in the truck stops. We call them lizards.
But if you're going to hang out in these kind of joints, wear a badge and your tidy.
There's zippers. The zipper is the striping on the road. You know, flatbed trucks called skateboards.
Tell me what that one's got on. For mine? 10 more.
There's so many men who drive truck who are just like Jerry Reed. Believable. I mean, his sense of humor, his determination, and his general character, just a good old country folk, you know. That's a lot of what truck drivers are. My favorite scene is Smokey and the Bandit when Snowman, Jerry Reed, got in a little bar fight out in the boondocks and with some bikers. And he didn't make out so good in the bar fight, but as he was leaving, he took them bikers' motorcycles and ran them right over. Great.
Hey, y'all, this is Big Dog. I'm fixing to put this one in the barn. Y'all be good out there. Be safe, get home to your families. Keep the greasy side down and the bears off your butt. Have a good evening. We out of here. Bye-bye.